States of America, number 17, Ben Stokes. For the Czech Republic, number 28, Pavel Sumpik. For Canada, number 21, Mika Komanyuk. For Great Britain, number 41, Alfie Amy. For Sweden,
the Swiss rider pulls off the gold medal. Smith basically collapsing at the line from the effort. It's the biggest moment of his life.
So hello and welcome to day 3, race number 1 of the day, the men's junior race here at the UCI 2023 World Championships. Let's take a look at out and around the area here, around Hoogerheide. So lots of cycling to head out on, and lots of riders are going to be heading out there. We're with our world champions, and of course our last world champion was Jan Christensen, who took the win out in the States, in the United States, out in Fayetteville. An incident-packed race on a very fast, hard track, but it came down to an amazing sprint finish, and you can see just what it meant. A very different course here today, with none of our top 3 contesting the race. And although we may not have quite as much mud as expected here in Hoogerheide, it is definitely going to be a real challenge for the riders. The course 3.2 kilometers long. It includes the woodland sections, which are very, very tricky indeed. A little bit of rain overnight has meant it has been a little slippery, but drying out very fast indeed. As you can see, lots of different sections that will challenge our riders as they go around, whilst they may start on the tarmac and make their way up from the start through underneath the finishing arch for the first time on relatively good conditions. It's tougher further out. And the weather today, well, the sun's out, it's not raining, it's pretty good weather realistically, and I think our riders are not going to have a problem with the conditions. Your start list up on screen, all supervised by our race referees. They're the commissaires, and that panel will be checking that all the riders follow the rules. Big hitters to watch out for Jordi Corses, Léo Bisiaux, as well as Victor Vandenberg, De Boer and Van Eyden from the Belgian States as well. Also taking a wins on the way through, and Andrew August could well look to take the first medal since 2007 in the junior men's competition from the United States. The riders lined up, the front row made up of the riders who are in the top of the standings in the World Cup, the season-long competition. So first up is Jezka Vladek of the Czech Republic, and second place Podium, rode 5 of the World Cups. Alongside us, Van der Bar won one round, a second in the rounds as well, contesting 4 of the rounds with Jordi Corses, a winner, and tipped quite hotly in the commentary box by my colleagues here as being a favourite. Not my top tip, I must admit, but we will see on the way through. So Vandenberg, a second and a third place, but this man, Léo Bisiaux, 2 wins in the World Cup, 1 second place, and top in the world standings and in the World Cup Series. He's been really exciting to watch race. It'll be very interesting to see if he can repeat Clement Venturini's win of 2011. Gus van den Eyden of the Netherlands, 1 win and a third place, so a regular podium rider. And Andrew August of the United States of America, 2 fourth places, his best performances in the World Cup so far. Could be a good breakthrough if he can get himself up there. And Senna Remium going in, and again another podium rider, 3rd place, his best performance on the World Cup. So an absolutely jam-packed field of talent. All the riders ready to go. They will go on the lights turning from red to green, and this start is very tough indeed. They come from the low section of tarmac right up along the sweeping right-hand bend, left-hand bend. It's a tight right-hand turn over the bridge before heading past the pit for the first time. The first chance to change bike if they do have an issue off from the start. So the profusion of colour is going to now start to take some kind of shape as the riders go. Big problems for Canada in the middle there. Looks like the riders almost taking each other out, and a big stack up on the side as well. Lots of the favourite riders in the middle of the pack down there. Just seen Sebastian Crinley just having to pull his bike out of the melee there. The Swiss also trying to move around. It looks like Czech rider there, definitely feeling the pressure there, just getting checked out by the medics. You can just see this big mass of riders charging away, and it was about second row down. We saw that crash come down. So Filip Samek of the Czech Republic, I think coming off a worst in that tumble. As they came down, you can just see they were just building up speed this uphill section away, and it looks like big problems as well. Plenty of riders running, including Andrew August by the look of it on the run up there. So August at the moment is now having to run from the stage, got a big rip in the side of his shorts and having to head towards the pit. The leaders though already past that pit section, heading out towards the woodland, with Remian leading out from Zedek, then Van der Eyden, Cafuri from Italy, then it's Ackert of Canada, Nuyens from Belgium, Courses from Belgium, then it's Vanderberg, his teammates alongside at the moment, but a big stack on the way through, and that is what happens when you put a whole load of under 18 boys. And another issue again, you can see this congestion. This is why it's so important to get right up to the front of the race. You get a clean run through, you're not going to have an issue. And these riders at the moment are a long way from the pit, a long way from help. If they have an issue, this course is really slick. You can see in the woods where it's cut up, you can see the grass in there. There's a lot of debris, and on the outside line, a lot of leaf mulch that is making it slippery. Further down, it gets more packed. And this descent, definitely very slick. First thing this morning, went out and actually managed to get my hands on the tree roots and on the side here. And you can see where it's been packed down. No major real big ruts forming. The riders dropping off into the lower field where it's a lot clearer and a lot more sticky. So again, and just congestion. The riders are coming charging in a pace. They're all trying to make up ground here. They've had issues early on. A lot of the riders getting forced back into a position they're unfamiliar with and generally will not want to be in. They've got to chase harder, and that is really mixing up the racing at the front of the race. You can see at the moment it's a Dutch rider taking it out. I think this could be Van der Eyden by the look of it as he goes up on to the climb here. So just taking that left-hand turn. Sorry, not Van der Eyden. Just go through the Dutch kit there, but as they come in and through, I think that was Haverdings actually just leading them out, but a long train of riders, no major gaps in here. So let's keep an eye on them as they go around. It's Remian still leading, so Senna Remian looking like he's got that lead still from Cafuri, and then Jedek in fourth place at the moment, but leading out going to be Bisiaux, so it's going to be Bisiaux for France right up in the mix. He's in third place, so Bisiaux leading through from Jedek in third and fourth place, but the race headed by Senna. So real fast action at the moment out here. This is lap number one. The riders don't know how many laps they will do. The commissaires will look to slot the time window and get the racing to finish within the allocated time, and that will be done. It'll be extrapolated out from the initial lap times, and this initial lap time may well not be the fastest lap now, and this is where the riders really have to focus. If you are looking to get a good start, you're going to need to push on and make the most of that, as we see Léo Bisiaux up on to the front of affairs. A few gaps opening behind. So another look over the shoulder. Are they going to be able to pull clear a little bit of a group? Good ride at the moment by Ian Ackert from Canada. He's the rider in the Canadian blue, the white and the red with that maple leaf on his jersey. Just trying to bridge across to bring this group back at the moment. he's going to be looking to emulate the performances from earlier on in the weekend. Make sure you have a look back. We're not going to give any spoilers away. If you haven't watched any of the racing from the previous days, do go have a look back. Some royal history being made out on the course. So the riders down into this lower turn, they've climbed back up through the woods. The rut there allows the riders to take the pace round to keep the speed. However, the further back you are, the harder it is to keep pace, to keep that speed, to be able to keep position every time you go into an obstacle, every time you go into a technical area. If you're on the front, you can pick where you go and what pace you approach it. Further back, you'll be braking a little bit earlier, and a little bit earlier, and a little bit earlier through that group, and then you'll be accelerating up a little bit later. And that really does mean that the easiest place to be is on the front. Not very much draft assistance. The wind blowing, you can see the flags up from the fans flying. With the fans all the way out and around the course. The riders now coming down past that big VIP section. And going to be heading into the long climb that will take them up through past the hurdles and up to the flats just up above the riders at the moment. So just taking a look down for some of the favourites at the start. Looks like most of them are managing to pick themselves back up, with the exception of August at the moment. And August a lot further down. The riders bunny hopping the hurdles, most are choosing to do so. Interesting that UCI Italian that they're just making the smart move of going for discretion rather than taking that risk on the way over and through. But as you can see, get it right, carry lots of momentum through, and you can really drive away. You see the Frenchman going across to the side there, and causing a little bit of a stall behind, and it has allowed a little bit of a gap to open up. Jordi Corsus up onto the front. Jordi from Belgium in the light blue, puts the bike up onto his right shoulder there. Slip and a stumble on the way through, but it looks like everybody dismounting pretty cleanly. The flagstones at the bottom started to really dry out, and even though there's a lot of debris being brought down with the sunshine that's out and the wind drying them, it's getting very, very quick out on the course. So the final technical descent takes our riders down onto the tarmac, back through that start finishing straight on the way round. So here goes the charge now. Is anybody going to be content sitting? I don't think they are. They're really wanting to pressure here. So Bisiaux now on the front, trying to open the gap and back up again here. They don't want to let these groups come back together, particularly the nations who don't have lots of numbers. And whilst there's no great advantage in having the teammates in there, the teammates will let gaps go in the same country, and that can cause gaps, it can cause splits. So if you're a solo rider from your nation, something like Hoogerheide from the Czech Republic, maybe Cafuri from Italy, or Bisiaux from France, then you do have to put the pressure on. You could just see as he came on, there wasn't so much coming through as putting in a dig on the way up, just to stretch them out from coming through and coming through at pace. So Italy now with the lead. Tommaso Cafuri leading the riders through at the moment, as you can just see a quick change of bike there. That was Van den Eyden just dropping in. He's going to come back out pretty much in this pack. So into the first lap, number 2, the riders past that pit area. The gaps just starting to open up, with Anton Jamin sitting at the back of that pack. Now the Italian gets the choice of line coming in. You can see riders behind being forced wide, come out from that route, having to try and carry pace, carry speed around the outside. Taking that momentum is key. Every time that you lose momentum, you then have to pick yourself back up, start to close the gap, but back down again. That's what's happening now for Van der Berg in the light blue. And big slide out there, front wheel just going. So if you catch that rut slightly wrong, the wheel twist to the side, it will catch, it will stop, and it will throw you over those handlebars. And that's a bit like having somebody just jam the brakes on in the car, just spits you forward, and that momentum carries you over the top. Sometimes the riders can pull the bike back up, not always. just see bouncing out of the ruts there. Vandenberg not having a smooth run through, and then just taking that the back wheel sliding, the front wheel sliding, hits the rut, and now having to chase. So these early flurries of attacks, of mistakes, really indicative of a lot of our junior riding where it is absolutely flat out from the start. At the moment, you're just starting to see this lead group pull out a little bit of a gap to the chasers behind. It's still being left for Ackert in 8th place. Ian Ackert in 8th position for Canada at the moment, trying to close down that gap. It's only a matter of a few seconds, but if this lead group drive on, they've definitely got strength in depth to be able to pull clear. Once again, Bisiaux just goes up onto the front on this time. This is the longest climb on the course as you come away from VIP after going over the big triple bridge in the middle section. Steep start, but then it's a long drag, and anyone who's ridden up one of these types of slopes will know. You go on the steep section, your legs are burning, then you go onto the long drag that follows it. That can really be the difference between staying in a group and being distanced. There's all sorts of pain on the riders' faces, even at this early stage, and there's still a lot of racing still to come. Just taking a look back through some of these favourites, and definitely a number of riders, people like Vandenberg, right down in that pack, not having a great race. Bisiaux at the moment just starting to open up the gaps behind. Looks to me like Corsus, he's very aware of the damage that's being done here by Bisiaux. So Jordi Corsus looking to close that gap. So two riders just stretching out a little bit here, and it's being Leicester Senna and Remgen at the moment to close down, just leaving a little bit of room at the moment to roll that bend, just to carry that momentum through. If you're going right at somebody's wheel, you're not going to be able to carry maximum speed through. It's often better to just lay off a little bit going in the corner, carry the momentum, drive through, and then pick up the pace to come back up onto the wheels. Well, the wind blowing in the way of the riders. I'm not sure it distracted them too much on the way through. Got flipped by at least one rider's shoe on the way past, but Bisiaux looking all business today. He's not going to be distracted by a trifle like that being thrown at him. The riders used to riding in big crowds here, and it's a sellout crowd today. 40,000 people making the way down, ticketed in to the central area within the race at the moment. And that's going to be absolutely mad packed. That's plus, of course, all the VIPs, all the crew, the teams, all the supporters making their way in, and very, very loud, very vocal, and a real big party atmosphere going on right from the start of the day. And they're going to be running in and out of that beer tent all day long, as well as the party tents down on that site. Now, leading group starting to pull clear. 4 riders being chased by 2, and then the gap really starting to open behind. So at the moment, it's going to be Vincent Nuyens who is leading the chase. He's currently got a 6-second gap to make up as the leads come back into the planks, barriers, all the hurdles, called all of those names by varying nations around the globe, and very well we're going out to a lot of people. If you are joining us for your first cross race, you've got an absolute cracker. The riders having to make their way around. They're allowed to go into the pit to change bike if they have an issue. Already seen a lot of incidents, including the start straight crash, multiple crashes on there that caused issues, but riders also having problems on the very first of the technical sections. That log jam that occurs as the riders coming in really eliminated and knocking back a number of the big favourites. However, Jordi Corsus, Léo Bisiaux, the riders up at the front of the race, with Remgen from the Netherlands, Vandenberg in the mix as well. And the Italian putting in a great ride here is Caffuri, so Tommaso Caffuri, nicely moving his way up into the mix at the moment. So through they go, and you can just see the move here. Bisiaux has meant business all the way through. He's starting to stretch this out, and he's not letting the two riders from Belgium dominate the race. He's not letting them boss him about. He's looking like he knows that to stay clear, he's really got to keep on pushing here. Another move on the side there, the French. Clearly, I'm not sure what they were saying in the management meeting in the morning, but it's definitely worked. So just watching this descent again, you can just see that kick off and away. This really is downhill. It doesn't really show it very well on the camera. That slope down there is about 6-7% on that descent, and it allows you to pick up pace. The other thing that's blowing, the wind is blowing right the way down that is a tailwind. So as a solo rider, if you get yourself out into the wind, you can really pick up the pace, rocket your way in and through. And it looks like he almost caught them napping as they came down that descent. They know that they've got plenty of riders there to catch up. So Bisiaux at the moment with a 5-second lead on Kossis, on Rousien, on Van der Boer. Then a further 6 seconds back is Solon in the mix with Kafuri. Then it's going to be Noyens, Seixas, as well as Aka at the moment in 9th place. Jamin in 10th place, Jedek in 11th. So the riders sort of flicking the way through. Van der Boer a little bit further down the mix in 14th position, and looks like this race really just starting to find itself a pattern. Bisiaux on the attack, trying to break clear. The Dutch and the Belgian riders are really just trying to keep control of it, I think, a little bit at the moment until we get further down into the racing. So of those riders who we saw on the front row of the grid who have been distanced, the big loser in that big crash was Andrew August of the United States. Andrew August at the moment in 61st position, and that sounds a long way down. It's 1 minute 37 seconds at our last time check on the way through. So of our front gridded riders, the riders right at the front who have performed across the season, he's the rider who lost out the most in that early problem, in that big crash on the start-finish straight. Our caption showing it's a race for second place. I'm sure they will, if they were asked if we're able to breathe and actually talk at the moment, would be saying, no, we're still racing for first place. It's only 4 seconds behind Léo Bisiaux, who has that gap, and Kossis or Rousien know that they can pull that back if they need to. I think they've got to be careful, though. They won't want to go too hard, too deep, too soon. We're on lap 3 of 6, so not at half race distance yet. And the corners down by the VIP area on this lower section, and it is definitely very different underneath the ground there. So a lot more soil, a lot more dirt at the base there. It's on the old river floodplain, on the old marsh, on the Hoogerheide of the wasteland, and it's very deep, very, very boggy, and really soft underneath that. Go up onto the banks, a lot more bedrock, a lot higher up. It drains a lot quicker, a lot more trees in there holding it all together, and you can just see these riders on this climb. The terrain just changes, the line just becomes a little bit thinner, where you've got that faster rolling line. Now, are we going to see a move? Are we going to see Rousien leaving behind the two Belgians here? He's gone off in pursuit, and at the moment, they're not looking like riders like Sepp van der Boer there, not looking like he's got the spring in that we would expect to see, not looking quite so quick to react. And look at Bisiaux, though, absolutely keeping that cadence nice now, carrying the speed, carrying that pace, looking around those turns, runs wide, takes a look over his shoulder to see what the gap is. It's currently 6 seconds. Second place rider just chasing on here. Really interesting to see that Léo Bisiaux got his brake lever hose just tucked slightly inwards, so pointing inwards from the outsides of the handlebars. That allows the riders to get slightly narrowed together. So if you're going to go on a solo attack, it allows you to bring those elbows in to reduce that profile that is into the air. However, a lot of the riders don't like doing that for cyclocross. Whilst it may be an advantage on the road, on cyclocross, you've still got to have plenty of control. So you've got to be really confident that he's able to control that bike. You can just see them point slightly inboard. And it's a trend that's developed on the road and starting to make its way across the cyclocross. And if you're a regular road rider, of course, it's a very familiar hand position as well. It's not as extreme as some of the riders have been using. No, looks like issues with the shoe there, and that is for Van den Eyden, as having, I think, probably one of his worst days at the office for a long time. Gus Van den Eyden, another of our front row starters, taking the win already in the World Cup this year, on his way in to taking what was a 5th place. Bisiaux not looking the most comfortable over there. But neither is Jordi Corson. It shows these riders are right on the limit. These hurdles are uphill, although our camera makes it look slightly downhill. It is a very definite uphill slope on here. It makes it much more difficult, harder to carry the speed through from hurdle 1 to hurdle 2, or from plank 1 to plank 2. Just catches that front wheel slightly sideways. That was definitely got away with it that time. Will we see him do it next time round? It's cost him time. It's allowed Bisiaux just to continue to push and open that gap up here. So the race starting to stretch out. France looking like they are going to be in with a chance of extending and pushing forwards on here. The last French winner was Clement Venturini back in 2011. Now, well, we see Bisiaux repeat that. He took the World Cup win. Actually won that on round number 4 or 5. Didn't need to finish round 5. At the moment, he's going to go up. The slope goes through to complete at lap number 3, looking very smooth. You can just see those sort of hands tucked over the bars, whereas the chase behind, while down on the drops, they're trying to keep the pressure on. The wind's blowing up this finishing straight. It's just starting to turn slightly to the rider's left. 5 seconds a gap to our second place rider, but the gap back is definitely growing at 19 seconds to 3rd and 4th place, and the two Belgians can't hang around because they've got Kaya Solon right behind them and Vies-Nijns. Then they've got Seixas not all that far back, as well as Cafuri, who had that great start for Italy. I've seen one mistake, one slip, one slide can put you into trouble. As the chasing duo become 3. So the 2 Belgian riders in the blue, joined by the rider from the Netherlands, Kaya Solon, moving across mid-race. Drone off in pursuit of the riders as the chasers come in through, just taking that right-hand turn. Great action shots coming to you from Hoogerheide, our race leader, already dropping down into the lower fields here. He's still kicking out the saddle, but the gap is coming down, and I think we're going to see Yasena Ramin right on to the heels of our race leader. He's seated, pursued by the Dutch rider chasing the French race leader. He's not going to stay seated on here. Steep bank here. And that bank comes up about 35-40 degree bank, steep enough to cause the riders to get out, so they'll need to carry momentum and some pace into it. So Kaya Solon making his way up. He actually started on the 4th row of the grid, managing to stay out of trouble enough to be able to be in a position to close down the gap to get up into the mix in the top 5. Makes his way into the middle of the Belgian duo. So at the moment, it's France in the lead, with the Netherlands in 2nd and 4th place. Belgium with 3rd, 5th and 6th places. And France with another good record from Paul Sexas, who is in 7th position. So Léo Bisiaux doing a lot of work here. You see out of the saddle, even on this long drag, using his body weight to push that bike along. That seated style of that centre engine, just looking just a little bit more comfortable as he comes round here. So the gap, 3 seconds. Is he going to make that junction? Is he going to get back across? They're on lap 4 of 6 laps here today. It's interesting line taken by Bisiaux, along with our 2nd place rider, Sir Raymond. Going in through, just taking a little bit of a look like this is the chase behind. You can just see the Belgians really struggling to contain the rest of the riders, and just taking a look back at the results. I think the last time Belgium didn't score a medal on a podium was back in 2018 when Ben Chulet, the rider who's won the championships twice, took victory from Thomas Kopecky from the Czech Republic, and Ryan Kemp from the Netherlands was in 3rd place. But since then, they've managed to get a medal at every single championship held since. They've had a lean period in 2016, 17 and 18, but look to be back. And France, the last medal coming from Michael Crispin. Ahead of Thomas Bonnet. That was back in 2016. Bisiaux looking, though, to take top spot. Last gold medal won by Clement Venturini back in 2011 in this category. Venturini running really strong on his home turf. The last round of the World Cup was over in Besançon, and Venturini really putting it in front of his home fans. I'm sure lots of them have made the trip down across to the side of the barriers here. Just watching those riders just coming through, still coming through, and not necessarily making it look particularly easy. It was very much the case. I think these riders are on the limit. If it looks smooth, the riders probably not going absolutely flat out, even if they're the best in the world. That uphill hurdle, very, very difficult. That uphill plank's very difficult to get over. Well, Fast Feet still looking composed, pulls the gap back out again. It is definitely stretched out here. The time gap shown on our screens at 11 seconds between 1st and 2nd place, so that chase has not turned into a catch. The gap further back, though, 17 seconds back to the next chasing back. That's going to be Corsa Solon van der Boer in the chase with Noyens making the junction as well. He's our race leader, though, as he comes through 2/3 race distance covered, continuing to push here. nearly 29 minutes of racing. You see crouched low over the bars, just minimising that aerodynamic profile out of the saddle. Second place, Senna Remin on his way up here, and you can see the three chasers behind them onto the straight. They are closing that gap down. I think what we are going to see is a little bit of a push now. The Belgians have the strength here. They have 3 riders in the mix. Let's see what that time gap is. So at the moment it is Léo Bisiaux leading out. It is Remy in second place at 17 seconds. Then the group led by Noyens at 32 seconds. You can see on your screens though that Wilfingel of the Netherlands are leading the next set of riders through at 43 seconds. So this race by no means over. We've still got a third of the race distance to go, and if these riders have gone too hard too soon, then you could see them really start to struggle. The race time will push them into the point at which any fuel that they put on board at the start of the race or just before they set off, any of those that just in that pre-race fueling could run out now. They should be experienced enough. They should know how to get this fueling right. But it's a world championship, and we see time and time again the riders are pushing way beyond their expected limits, really pushing themselves, spurred on not just by the crowd but the whole atmosphere of being in and around Hoogerheide itself. Absolutely jammed. Every single cafe, bar, every hotel within about 50 miles, about 80k of the area is absolutely jam-packed. It's brilliant atmosphere down here. And the riders absolutely spurred on, but sometimes it just pushes them a little bit too far, and then they can pay the price, and it can cost them time, and then they can go backwards very quickly. Bisiaux at the moment, though, extending his lead. That gap, 19 seconds at our last time check. The gap behind second to third place, that is Remy to Noyens, and that is currently sitting well, you can see it on your screens, it's there at 12 seconds at the moment. Well, contrast those two riding styles on the way through. Bisiaux at the front looking very much up for it, out of the saddle, very much still springy, bouncy, still full of energy. I think we are going to see Remy have to do a little bit of a regroup here. Let's take a little look further back. Oh, issues on the way through. So our rider from Hungary there, that is Zonsbor Takas, just losing it on there. Fortunately able to jump, rewrite that, and one thing in cross you can guarantee is you're going to slide, you're going to slip, and you're going to hit the deck at some point on the way through. It's very rare riders have a super smooth ride through, and very rarely that they say, yep, had a great ride, it was absolutely perfect. In fact, I can't remember the last time any rider actually said that pretty much in any post-race interview ever. Chaser behind our race leader, really interesting here. You can see Bisiaux, he's just on his own, he's sitting at a pace that he knows he can maintain. He's out of the saddle, using all that body weight to turn those pedals around rather than dropping down a gear and pedaling just a little bit quicker. He's using that body weight, he's still full of fight at the front. Behind him, Remy, just looking that little bit more laboured over the bike. He's been seated in his efforts all the way through here. He's losing ground. He's at 22 seconds, and he is getting closer to the group behind, who are pulling him back. That gap is at 10 seconds now on our time checks. You can see it on your screens there. Foreshortened just a little bit here. Now, the chase being led here, it is Noyens who's leading them through. Then it's Solon, followed by Van der Boot and Corsus, and then behind you can see Wilfingel here, Mika Wilfingel of the Netherlands, just with a little bit of a gap to Albert Philipsen. So Philipsen on a good ride here for Denmark. He is trying to close it down, and it's going to be Takas, followed by Caffarini on the top 10. smart riding here by Kaya Solon, who's sitting second wheel in this group of 4. Where they've been going on the sections, he's never dropping back at any more really than second place. If he goes into third place, the riders in first and second in front from the Belgians, likely just to leave that little bit more of a gap and maybe just let a rider drift clear of the front. But now choosing as he goes into these more technical sections to be in a position where he can't get distanced on the way through by that group. So these riders playing this tactical game of chess whilst simultaneously riding at a pace through all of the course here. Bisiaux at the moment, it's very simple. Get your head down and go. If he gets caught back, he's not going to have much left in the tank. You can see the shouts coming down at the side. Getting a lot of encouragement. A lot of the teams going down to that point just after VIP, just before the climb, to shout time checks, to give advice out to the riders and what is going to be a key section of that climb. So the leader now choosing to jump off to carry the bike over. Less risk. There's always that calculation. It's risk versus reward. Less risk by running. Lose a little bit of time, not a problem. Go bunny hop that, get it wrong, lose a lot of time. Not worth that risk, and not when he's got the gap that he has. At the moment, Centurion just looking to maintain the gap over the riders behind their pull. That gap down to 10 seconds. It's back out to 12 at the moment. All 4 looking pretty smooth through there, even with both techniques being deployed. Nice smooth remote, clipping quickly back into those pedals. To the point where he put in that big dig, putting the attacking that real push through the start-finish straight where he pushed clear. When he managed to go away from the rest of the group. Bisiaux now heading in towards the line here, looking very, very smooth. You can just see trying to keep that profile down. The sound he wants to hear, it is 1 lap to go, and the gap is the length from the descent off the bank to the finishing line. That gap really has gone out. He's continuing to push. 24 seconds our last time check. Then it's this chasing group of 4 riders potentially fighting for 1 medal here. So at the moment, Bisiaux is your race leader. Remin going through the line in second place. Nearly a third of a minute down. 21 seconds is the gap. But then and now, this chasing group, what are they doing? Well, they're going to attack each other here. This is the fight here. They're going to try and get rid of the riders from the Netherlands. The Belgians should be able to put different riders onto the attack to really burn some energy out, because it's going to be left to Kaya Solon to respond for the Netherlands. Our race leader continued to push here, and look at the shouts coming on. He was brave, he weren't early, he's getting a lot of support. They know that they're seeing a real class act in action. Man who has taken 2 wins on the World Cup circuit, a second place in his rise on the way through. Taking the win, going clear in the end, winning that World Cup series by 129 points from Jordi Corsos. Corsos at the moment on the attack as our drone drops in behind Bisiaux. You can just see that left foot out, just stabilising. Just loses a little bit of a time coming out on this section. He's in a big gear, pushing away there. We're going to have to now switch over slightly from his keep pushing for time. He now won't want to make a mistake because there'll be no time to come back from it. So he's got to balance caution and care with keeping and maintaining that lead. 19 seconds is his lead at the moment. It's that little drop down. It just drops in, get that right. You can carry plenty of pace through there. Well, the pre-ride videos, the riders were whipping the bike across underneath them as they got air on the way through there. Not so much now. It's all about making sure you keep control and play it safe if you're in that race lead. Now, let's take a look back through here. You can just see drops the bike into the left foot, stabilising pedals with that right foot. Then the back wheel just steps out a little bit here. That's drive on the chain. Just can make that out on our screens here in the commentary box. And then it looked like that chain just didn't quite engage. That meant they had to get it back on and keep it driving. Now, problems again are further behind. So Remin also having issues. And these riders pushing everything, the equipment to the limit as well. So 19 seconds, the time to make it. Looks like Bisiaux right in that bike and able to continue to push. Remin, he knows he's on with a chance of getting this silver medal. He's got to stay clear of Jordi Corses. Corses still leading the chase behind last time we saw. And it looks like Corses could maintain the run of medals for Belgium if he can stay in position. But he's going to be chased from behind. And Bisiaux, you can see that gap between first and second place here. Netherlands have been looking to add to their medal tally. There's some great racing from the team so far. A really good atmosphere in the Dutch camp. You can just see Corses with that little bit of a lead at the moment in third place. 3 riders chasing behind. Solon from the Netherlands, Nuyens and Van der Boer. And a little bit gap further back. 10 seconds back to Wilfingel in 7th position. Philipsen still in 8th. Jedek in 9th. Ackert in 10th place. He's got company from Kafuri and Takas as well. So at the moment, Jordi Corses looking to make that bronze medal his, maybe move up if there was an incident with the riders in front. He's got it down to 6 seconds to second place. Time's running out, though, as they make their way around the course. So over the top past the pits for the last time for Léo Bisiaux. Bisiaux at the moment not having to go in, having a clean run. So the mud coming off that bike pretty quickly. Nothing too wet, nothing sloppy out there. It really isn't sticking. It's not clogging up the treads. He's keeping that grip. He's been looking good all the way around. Now, second and third place. This is the battle. Remin in second, third place is Corses. It looks like another dig, and now as Nuyens and Van der Boer have gone in front of Solon. So Solon at the moment just being a distance a little bit further back. Bisiaux though getting a huge roar. We're going to hear it through the double glazing on the commentary box at the moment, because he's getting so much support down from the side here. Really has shown a clean pair of heels to everybody else as he goes over that triple bridge for the last time. He'll be down past that VIP section and on to the climb through past the planks, through over those hurdles very shortly. So he's had team crew just out on the side just as he exits these turns, giving him time checks on the way through. He's going to know just how big that gap is. It's currently showing us 16 seconds. 5, 6, 7 seconds between second and third place. Very close at the moment. So Remin's not going to want to lose that. He looks over his shoulder. He knew that Corses was coming. Corses has only got 4 seconds from Nuyens. And you can see he's going to have to now give it everything. He's really got to push. He can't afford to have anything left in the tank. If he can stand up, if he can breathe at the end of this, he's not gone hard enough because he's got to give it everything. And this man, he's paced it absolutely superbly. Choosing to run the planks, run the hurdles, the barriers, and he goes round over the top of this side of the course, up onto the bank for the last time. 1 steep descent and then the run up the steps. And surely he's not going to make a mistake here. This is the fight for second and third place. Over the hurdles goes Corses in a third position. Well, he's going to try and close that gap down, but he's also going to need to defend his place from his teammate Nuyens. The race on leader down the big descent for the final time on to the steps. Well, Andrew August will be thinking what could have been. He's third fastest lap time there. Not going to be rewarded with a medal of any description after that start straight incident. No problems for this man, though. He's going to come through. It's going to be the First French time since 2011 in the junior men's competition. He's going to love every second of this run up between the huge crowds here at Hoogerheide. Bring it on. They applaud him all the way through. Your junior men's champion. It is Léo Bisiaux. What a ride. Absolutely faultless on the way through. No wonder he's smiling. It's a second place here today. What could have been for Remin? He comes in ahead, the little bit of a sprint there. As you can see, Jordi Kos is just taking it ahead of Vies Nuyens. Nuyens going to come through ahead of Seb van der Boer. Then it's going to be Kaya Solon of the Netherlands in 6th position. These are riders fighting all the way to the end, but it is a victory for France. Well, we said if he could stand at the end, and he hadn't gone hard enough. He's just leant over on the barriers as the big crowd of riders coming through. Good ride by Carfuri there, and as you can see, the riders coming in. Canada with Ian Urquhart in 11th place. We got Yerrick in 10th position, Takas in 9th, Philipsen in 8th, Bill Fingal in 7th, Solon in 6th, Van der Boer in 5th, Nuyens in 4th. Your top three courses taking 3rd place, so Remin taking 2nd, but this man Léo Bisiaux. Well, the French will be singing long and loud at the end of that race, and all the way into our next one, I'm sure. Well, so composed, he's already signing autographs on the way through. So what a year for him. The #1 rider in the World Cup Series, the #1 rider in the international rankings, and the world champion as well. The rest of the medalists will be taken up to the interviews and up to the podium for our medal presentations. I think for the Belgian and the Dutch teams, they're going to be thinking, oh, could we have played that slightly differently? Should we have chased harder? Just watching the riders come in and through the line there, and just seeing Ben Stokes, the States, come in and through. The riders down on our race, leaded by a substantial margin at this point. Let's see that again. His final run into the line, he was super composed all the way through. He takes a look over the shoulder to make sure he hasn't been closed down. He's got plenty of practice of putting his arms in the air and taking the win. He takes the big win here of the season, the world champion. It is the one and only Léo Bisiaux. Well, he'd follow in the world tracks of the previous champions, Jan Christen, Thibaut Nix, Ben Schuler, Tom Pickock, Jens Decker, Simon Andreas and Thixert. Well, he was super cool. He enjoyed that on the run in to the line, and cool as anything, signing the autographs afterwards already. So great to see, and I wonder whether it's sunk in yet. Well, the French team having a great day and taking away the win. I'm sure they'll be down at the side of the podium, but we're going to hear from our race winner.
Last time that a Frenchman won the men junior UCI Cyclo-cross World titles back in 2011. How does it feel to claim those rainbow stripes back for France?
Yeah, it was a very long time and not a World Cup and a World Championship French. So a big work with the federation. So yeah, today it was a good race and a good preparation with the French team in Spain for the training camp. And yeah, it was a good day today.
You also finished on the top of the men junior UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup standings this season. Did you feel a lot of pressure going into today?
No, it was a good pressure. yeah, I went the World Cup after Arnaud Jouffroy, so it was really good. And today, no, I have not pressure. François Troirieux, I wrestled me, so yeah, it was good for me, and I'm ready for the battle today, and it's a good battle. Yeah.
Next week's your 18th birthday. It's a quite a good birthday present, hey?
Yeah, it was really good, and it was good. Yeah, I'm really happy of this result.
Congratulations, enjoy.
Well, that'll be a birthday party to remember. I wonder whether he'll wear the rainbow jersey, not just to bed, as is fairly traditional for our winners. We'll see whether or not he's going to be wearing it at his party. Well, he won it in some style. So from the start, really determined a lot of the outcome of this race. Watch the middle of this bunch as it goes up. You can just see all of a sudden that big pile of it spread across to the right-hand side, taking out some of the big names like Andrew August, who was eliminated and pushed right back down into the late 60s in terms of position. It meant that the riders were scrabbling up for the wheels to get back in touch with the race lead that you could see from the word go. Léo Bisiaux really meant business, accelerated and kicking out of every corner. The Italian rider Cafuri was able to stay with him initially, along with the Belgian and Dutch challenge, but as they dropped down onto the tarmac, a little gap opened up. Bisiaux decided to take advantage of the tailwind blowing along the straight and push onwards and open a little bit of a gap. Behind some hesitation between the Belgian and the Dutch riders, as well as a little bit of congestion, and Bisiaux, meanwhile, keeping his head down, just continued to work. Initially, the push coming from Remin, trying to close that gap. He pushed and pushed, he got to within about 4 seconds of the race leader, and trying to close down, used a lot of energy, but Bisiaux just held him off, just kept him behind as he had rearward radar, absolutely pushing his way through. It meant that Remin couldn't make contact behind. A big group had formed with Corsus Nines, Van der Boer and Solon, all looking to take away a medal. Solon unable to match Corsus, but nobody able to beat the Frenchman who took the title. Léo Bisiaux, your race winner. Senna Remin taking second place for the Netherlands, and Jordi Corsus taking third place for Belgium. So the top 10 there for you, with Jezek in 10th, Takas in 9th, Philipsen in 8th, Fingal in 7th, Solon in 6th, Van der Boer in 5th, Nuyens in 4th, Corsus taking 3rd place, Remin in 2nd, and your champion Léo Bisiaux. And 48 seconds separating the top 10 on the course. It shows you just how close that race was. Further down, you can see a good rise by Alfie Emmy there from the UK, the best British finisher in there. And Daniel English did a good ride for the States in Akel, 11th place at the finish, ahead of Tommaso Cafuri. A real mix of riders. Top Luxembourg rider was Noah Burton, who came through not all that far behind Nicholas Holter of Switzerland. And it's a long way down our standings to get down to Andrew August, who really had the worst look on the start as they came off from the front. And good riding by the Slovakian rider Schwarzbacher there. He's put in a good result there. I don't think Spain will be quite as pleased with their results here today. They would have been looking to be further up in that mix, but some really interesting results right the way down through that race field. So that race start with 71 riders, many of those riders affected by the crash on the way up and through. And anybody who's watched any of their local league racing, any of their national series, will know that the younger the riders, generally the faster and the more manic they are when they start. Generally, that's what results in people hitting the side of the barriers or clipping wheels and then coming at the cropper. So the start being ready for our next race, which will be coming up after our podiums and presentations. And in the meantime, the crowds, I think at the moment, not really wanting to lose their spot on the barriers. They've got a good spot here today with an absolutely packed crowd packing out, not just the finishing straight, but all the way around the circuit here. And nobody wants to move too far and lose a prime position to watch the racing. Lots of great social media out there as well, and a lot of it on the UCI feed, UCI, the governing body of cycle sports worldwide, and responsible for so many different disciplines, from indoor cycling to downhill mountain bike, from cyclo-cross to track. So day 3 has kicked off our very first race. Well, it was dominated by Léo Bisiaux. A quick run up those steps. He pushed on over the top. A little look back there. Really interesting to see. He clearly thought this was a moment where he could push on. He set it up really well. He dropped down there with the gap and then accelerated up. You could see the flags blowing down the straight here. That tailwind really pushing him down and building the momentum. Very quickly out of the saddle every time that he had to accelerate out of a corner, and with only one moment where he had a jam on that chain in the woods. No problems as he rode in to take victory. This is going to be a moment that I'm sure the French will be playing back time and time again, and quite rightly so. It was a long time coming. But the 2023 Junior Men's Championship were won by Léo Bisiaux, following in the wheel tracks of Clement Venturini back in 2011. Well, it's not a bad set of wheels to be following in the French Federation. Taking the riders out onto that training camp, they clearly worked wonders. So the champion and the riders will have plenty of media duties to attend to, as well as partying. Some great shots of our under-23 men's champion down in the party, down in the beer tent, enjoying himself with the music going. And great to see those French national jerseys just down on the barriers here. The teammates lined up at the side of the podium as well. That's excellent, and that's what you'd love to see. You can see all these guys here. They're going to cheer the party up on to the stage, the presentation party being formed and readied for our podium presentations here today. Time for the award ceremony for the 2023 Junior Men's Race.
Award ceremony of the 2023 UCI Cyclo-cross World Championships for the men junior category.
De officiële prijsuitreiking van de wereldkampioenschappen veldrijden 2023 voor de heren junioren.
During this ceremony, the medals and the rainbow jersey will be presented by Mr. Tony Mitchell, UCI Management Committee member.
De trui en de medailles worden uitgereikt door de heer Tony Mitchell, lid van het managementcomité van de UCI.
Afterwards, the flowers will be presented by Mr. Steven Adriaansen, the mayor of the municipality of Woensdrecht.
De burgemeester van de gemeente Woensdrecht, de heer Steven Adriaansen, zal de bloemen uit gaan reiken aan de top 3 hier op het podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, in third place and winner of the bronze medal representing Belgium.
Dames en heren, op de derde plaats uit België, Jordi Korses.
Our bronze medal winner from Belgium, bronzen medaillewinnaar uit België, Jordi Korses. Mag ik een daverend applaus voor onze bronzen medaillewinnaar Jordi Korses. In second place and winner of our silver medal representing the Netherlands.
Tweede plaats en de winnaar van de zilveren medaille uit Nederland, Senna Remijn. En andermaal is de medaille overhandigd door de heer Tony Mitchell, lid van het managementcomité van de UCI.
Graag ook een applaus voor onze zilveren medaillewinnaar Senna Remijn. Proficiat Senna. Et maintenant, mesdames et messieurs, notre nouveau champion du monde. In first place, UCI World Champion and winner of the gold medal representing France.
En dan nu, dames en heren, de kerstverse kampioen van de wereld bij de junioren. Vertegenwoordigt Frankrijk, Léo Bisiaux!
Léo Bisiaux est notre nouveau champion du monde en cyclo-cross chez les men juniors.
So Léo Bisiaux, crowned our world champion, the junior champion for 2023, gets the iconic rainbow jersey that's worn across all of the cycling disciplines administered by the UCI, the governing body for cycle sport, and receives his gold medal as well. Absolutely stunning ride by a man who was hotly touted 2 wins in the World Cup. He has a win at the World Championships to his amazing season. Would you put money against him being able to collect plenty more striker jerseys on the way through? I don't think I would. I'm sure that's going to be a great atmosphere in the French team with 2 more races still left to go here on site. So day 3 kicks off with 3 young men taking their medals here today. Kroos taking that bronze medal, Remy taking the silver, but that gold medal. Your world champion, Léo Bisiaux of France.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we now have your attention please for the national anthem of France. Mesdames et messieurs, votre attention s'il vous plaît pour la Marseillaise.
Dames en heren, mag ik graag uw welgemeende aandacht voor het nationale volkslied van Frankrijk.
Avec vos applaudissements, mesdames et messieurs, s'il vous plaît, pour les coureurs.
Very proud moment for Léo Bisiaux and for all of the French team. The very first recognised Cyclo-cross World Championship was in Paris in France with Hoogerheide taking the win. History continues, this time in the shape of Léo Bisiaux, who I'm sure we're going to see on World Championship podiums once again. The midget duties begin with lots of pictures. Don't forget, if you are watching down on site whilst also watching the racing live, then don't forget, make sure you get those images tagged with hashtag Hoogerheide 2023. Some amazing images, some fantastic support for our riders. The crowds seeing a real showcase from our race winner, and an absolutely desperate chase behind by Senna Remy, rewarded with the silver medal, and Jordi Corsos probably regarding that as scraping a bronze medal. He was fancied to be right up in the mix for the gold, but nobody could match this man today. So our next races are going to be hitting the race route. The course here in Hoogerheide in the Netherlands are going to be under 23 Women's Championships, and we will round the weekend off with our Elite Men's Championships. So the crowd watching the riders going out on to the course for practice. The riders in the later races really trying to get a feel for how this course has changed over the 3 days. One man who won't mind what happens now It's Léo Bisiaux, who now has his signature added to the jerseys, joining our previous winners. There's quite a few to say, so I hope he's got this down to a fine art. So great racing here so far. It's been great to see Léo Bisiaux kick off day 3 in fine style, taking that one and staying clear of all of the action and all of the incidents out on the race route here. We've got great action coming up. Make sure you come back and join us. From myself, Matt Payne, and from all the team here, we'll catch you very shortly. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.